Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is Josh, and I'm with Angel's Envy. I think I may have the best job title in the world, Whiskey Guardian. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the product and taste the bourbon and rye. So first, a little bit about our history. We were started with master distiller Lincoln Henderson and his son Wes. And Lincoln Henderson, inaugural Bourbon Hall of Famer. He had been with Brown Forman for years and was on the teams that developed some of the names that you know so well. Woodford Reserve, Gentleman Jack. But he had retired, his legacy was set, and then his son Wes was like, actually, Dad, come on, you've always been interested in doing this, so let's give it a shot. So what is Angel's Envy? Angel's Envy is a finished straight bourbon. So all that means is that after we age it for 4 to 6 years, like you would typically for a bourbon, and then after that, we put it into port barrels for up to 6 months. So that's something that's commonly done for Scotch, and it's really adds an extra layer of nuance. It also gives us a lot of opportunity to get more flavors into there and really create a product that's special and really at its time was not being done on the quality level that we were doing it as we released. So we're going to go ahead and get started with that first. Our bourbon's going to be 72% corn, 18% rye, 10% malted barley. On your nose, you're still going to get your typical vanilla notes, a little bit of raisin, and then a little bit of toasted, but oak, obviously. And then first sip, we're just going to let it coat our mouth. We're going to get a little bit of that, little bit just of that burn out of the way, and also so that these subsequent notes, we can really kind of get more of the flavor in there. So still get a little tiny bit of that burn, a lot more typical of what bourbon kind of expect to be. The second sip is really where we're going to start to taste the nuance, get a little bit more of that red fruit that it pulls out of porter casks and really starts to impart that flavor and give the beautiful profile that we end up with Angel's Envy. Um, so just to give you a quick representation visually of what that's like. So these are staves from a charred new oak barrel. As you can see, there's not really much coloration difference. It's going to be charred just the way it is, but the port barrels are going to have all this coloration and different layers that you get. It's really as that osmosis is going on and it's being pulled out and evaporating. Some of that flavor pulls out of the port barrel and really starts an exchange. So, funnily enough, with this product, on every one of our corks, you'll notice that we have a 1010 written, and besides being a fantastic bourbon, 1010 was our initial release date, supposedly. October 2010 was when we were supposed to be ready to go. Marketing, obviously, corks were made, everything was ready to go. And then Lincoln tasted it, decided, much to probably Wes and everybody in marketing's chagrin, no, we're not doing that yet. So 6 months later, we finally did get to release. But we also today have different stages of our distillation process. So if you want to smell those, you can kind of really get the ambiance of what it's like as it goes through. And then our other main product that we have is going to be our rye. It is a 4 to 9 year rye that is going to be aged for up to 18 months in Caribbean rum casks. So what this is going to do is it's going to add a whole nother flavor profile that you don't really get from a lot of ryes. And it's really going to be a totally different dimension compared to what you usually get for ryes. So on the nose, you are going to have a lot of caramel, a lot of maple, a little bit more sugar toasted, and it's just really going to be a decadent thing. I really think that this, for me, is like my evening sipper, kind of once I'm done with dinner, trying to relax, getting something for the end of the night. But on the first sip here, you're just going to get hit with like a wave of like really sweet, really bright, and a little bit of oak still, but not a lot to it. It just goes down so easy. On top of that, too, you get a little bit of a peppery note, just at the very, very back end. I get to have some fun arguments with another bartender I know about its category of being a rye because you don't have that big hit of pepperiness. It's still there a little bit, but it's a lot different in what role it plays in terms of how it would be utilized in your bar program and also how you can utilize it and sell it to guests in general. But it really is for me just a treat whenever I get it. I know here in PA it's been hard to get at times. We used to only release a couple times a year. Thankfully, that's been all taken care of, and from now on, it shouldn't be an issue. But that's how it was before. In addition to that, a couple of things just in general. The bourbon specifically, I think fits so well into being a cocktail bourbon. Its port finish gives it this little bit less of an edge. You get a little bit of that red fruit. Gives you some really interesting opportunities to play with Manhattans and really what you want to do with them. I've had a lot of fun lately experimenting with perfect Manhattans and really how they set up back and forth. But a little bit more about the brand. So Lincoln Henderson passed away, unfortunately, and he was our only master distiller that we had, and we didn't fill the role back after he left. His son didn't take it over, nobody else in the family. And recently, we just welcomed Owen Martin onto the team. He is our first master distiller since Lincoln Henderson passed away, and we're super excited to have him. Back to what I said at the beginning with Scotch being kind of had done all this stuff for finishing and using port barrels and sherry barrels for a really long time. Owen actually did his education in distilling over in Scotland with brewing as well. So he's got a really fun mixed background and he's doing some really cool stuff, has a lot of experience with the malt lines as well. So who knows what's going to be there. But other than that, be happy to help anybody out with any questions you might have. And I hope this was helpful.